Recently, I have been looking at this constant debate between the best credit cards to be used for overseas travel spend, and it all comes down to two competitors, namely your Instarem Amaze or YouTrip card. But I think YouTrip is only just one product that belongs to this multi-currency cards that can be debit cards or prepaid cards. I think the similar likes of Revolut, Trust Bank, Wise, and also BigPay, all these are multi-currency wallets that you can use that have the similar functions to YouTrip, but I think YouTrip is the more popular one. So I'll just compare between Instarem Amaze and YouTrip. And you know the reason why I did this video is because people have been asking on my Honey Money SG Telegram group, which you can join on this link right here, about whether what is a better card to use, because Instarem Amaze seems to have a lot of benefits but also comes at a higher cost as well, whereas for YouTrip it's much more straightforward. So in today's video, let's lay out some facts and then make a fair comparison between these two different products, and at the end of the video I will give you my conclusion of which one I prefer to use. So let's start off with the Instarem Amaze card first, because it fits nicely into my single credit card strategy, right? I mean, you can link 5 Mastercards into Instarem Amaze and then just use your Amaze card, whether the physical Amaze card or your Amaze card load into Google Pay and use your Google Pay as a contactless wallet that you can tap on almost any PayWave machines, and then you can get the same credit card rewards that is offered to the link Mastercard. So for my example, I have been using Citi Rewards. Citi Rewards is a Mastercard that gives you 10x points or 4 miles per dollar for every $1 that you spend on eligible merchants. Of course, there are other very attractive Mastercards like UOB Ladies Card, where you can get 4 miles per dollar for travel, and also your 8% cashback cards like Citi Cashback and also Maybank Family and Friends. All these are very good Mastercard options for you to link it up to Instarem Amaze. So you see, Instarem Amaze is more like a proxy, a bypass for you to load up different Mastercards so that you can then use Instarem Amaze as your single credit card because you have linked up the rewards from your prior Mastercards. But you see, the point about Instarem Amaze is not just linking Mastercards, because they do have very low FX fees, okay, FX spreads. If you look at the current bank offerings, they are like charging 3.5% of FX spread on top of their already poor FX currency rates. So you see, it's never worth it to use your local SGD credit card spend overseas, because they do charge like 3.5% unless your cashback or miles is more worth than the 3.5% fee. Like you have a 5% or 8% cashback card, then you just take 3.5% off, then I think that is a valid use. But you see, with Instarem Amaze, you are charged a FX spread of 1.5% to 2%. So that is greatly reduced from the 3.5% that we are talking about, right? I know 1.5% to 2% is still expensive for some of you, but we'll talk about that later in YouTrip, right? Because 1.5% to 2%, I think it's a fair trade. I mean, when Instarem Amaze was just launched, it was around 0.3% to 0.5%. I think now they are trying to like increase their profitability. That's why they increase the FX spread to 1.5 to 2%. But you see, another good thing about Instarem Amaze that you do earn 1% back in terms of Instapoints for overseas foreign currency transactions. So if you spend your Instarem Amaze overseas, like in a restaurant, and you pay it in the foreign currency, you do get 1% back in Singapore equivalent terms. And the Instapoints can be converted to Amaze Wallet credit, which you can then cash out by using the Amaze Wallet. So one other good advantage of Instarem Amaze is that you don't need to top up any money into the Instarem Amaze app, because it doesn't work like a prepaid wallet, okay? It's not an e-wallet. It's more like a link to the Mastercard. So wherever you want to spend, then you just change the Mastercard that you want to use, then just tap your Amaze card. It will just charge to your credit card directly, okay? There are no balances deducted, there are no balances loaded, so everything is kept off the Instarem Amaze app. And that is a particular advantage to some people, because they may not want to load so much money into this kind of prepaid wallet apps. So that's where the Amaze would appeal to them. Ho ho ho, it's Merry Christmas soon, and Weibo is spreading its love by giving $150 worth of cash voucher, especially during this promotional period till 31st December. So when you sign up for Weibo account and make your first deposit of at least 2,000 Singapore dollars, then you can make a one buy order. This order will need to be a minimum of 100 USD. I mean, you can look at AAPL, Apple stock, because one share of Apple is around $150 US. Next, you also have to make one options trade. So I would suggests that you buy one put option of Apple at $70, expiring the nearest date, which is this Friday, and that will be at 1 cent, right? So 100 units of that will be just $1 expense. After that, make sure that you hold your deposits for at least 30 days until your cash voucher is credited. So don't need to worry about whether your stock value will fluctuate up or down, because as long as you have not made any cash withdrawals, your reward eligibility is still valid. So sign up for a Webull account using my referral link down below or scan the QR code right here, and hope you have enjoyed a Merry Christmas. Next up, let's talk about multi-currency wallets, specifically YouTrip, because that's the most popular one, right? Like I said, there are other multi-currency wallets like Revolut, like Wise, like BigPay, like Trust Bank. All these you can go and sign up and get those free rewards as a new user. So I leave those links below. Just sign up, get the free gifts first, then you see which one you like to use lah. But today I'll just talk about YouTrip first. Effective 25th November 2022, Grab has disabled and disallowed all top-ups to prepaid e-wallets like YouTrip, BigPay, and all these Revolut multi-currency wallets. And for YouTrip as well, because a lot of you think that YouTrip has the best FX rates, the lowest FX spreads, and have top up your YouTrip wallets with GrabPay, and then you will use your YouTrip card overseas, whether you want to do cash withdrawals at a fee of $5 or you want to pay mastercard merchants using your YouTrip card. That has always been the overseas travel spend strategy. But with GrabPay disabling and nerfing all the top-ups to prepaid wallets, this will come to an end. The way YouTrip works is that it is like a prepaid wallet, so you definitely have to top up the wallet balance. And how you top up is that most people definitely use their GrabPay card to top up to YouTrip. But the main purpose of YouTrip is that it allows you to exchange your currency even before the trip, even before you spend, but it's only to the selected few currencies only. Like one of the most popular currency, MYR, Malaysian Ringgit, is not available. So if you're doing currency hedging, if you see like suddenly the Japanese yen is very good exchange rate, 1:100 yen, then maybe you want to store some Japanese yen, and that's where you can do it in YouTrip, because you can just load up some Singapore dollars into YouTrip and then convert them into Japanese yen and store them for your next Japan trip. YouTrip will also allow you to withdraw cash from overseas ATM at a low fee of 5 Singapore dollars, which I think is pretty good, right? Like let's say there are some merchants where they don't accept credit cards or debit cards or other kind of wallet, then maybe that's when you need cash. And I think at overseas ATM, they do charge like very exorbitant fees per withdrawals if you use your local bank credit card. So I think YouTrip charging $5, I think that's a fair trade. But of course, Revolut is like giving you free withdrawals up to $350, but that's out of the question. Anyway, the main draw about YouTrip is that they have very low FX spread. So just now we talked about Instarem Amaze giving like 1.5% to 2% FX spread. That is quite high, right, for FX fees. For YouTrip wise, it's 0.3% to 0.5%. So that's like a far cry from 1.5 and 2%, right? 0.3%, 0.5%. That's almost negligible, which is very close to the Google Spot FX rate. So you see, let's compare the costs and benefits of these two products. For Instarem Amaze, you earn your credit card rewards. That means that you earn your 4 miles per dollar or 8% cashback if you use the right credit card. Now for myself, since I'm using Citi rewards card as my single credit card strategy, I need to take the 4 miles per dollar, and my value per mile is at 1.25 cents. So 4 miles per dollar will be equivalent to 5% cashback. Don't forget, you also get 1% Instapoints back if you spend on foreign currency. So that's another benefit. Then for cost-wise, your FX spread is 1.5% to 2%. Let's take the highest tier one, which is 2% FX spread. So if you take a look at the net cashback rate, we are getting 5% cashback from my Citi Rewards Mastercard based on the cents per mile value. Then I add 1% for the Instapoints, so that's 5 plus 1%. And I have to deduct 2% from the FX spread, so that is 5 plus 1 minus 2, that is a net cashback of 4%. Then now let's take a look at YouTrip. The cost will be 0.3% to 0.5%. I'll take the higher tier one, 0.5%, and that will be a net cashback of minus 0.5%. So you see, Instarem Amaze having net 4% cashback, and for your YouTrip, your net cashback is minus 0.5%. Which one will you choose? That's quite an obvious choice, right? So my personal preference is of course to pick the Instarem Amaze, because you don't have to top up the wallet and you can link directly to any credit card, no top-ups required, no currency conversion at that point required, and you get net 4% cashback. Okay, Compared to your YouTrip card, you have to top up, you have to convert sometimes if you want a favorable exchange rate, and the fact that the net cashback is only minus 0.5%. But I understand that some of you will still prefer to use YouTrip because you are not comfortable with Instarem Amaze charging you 2% FX spread. And I mean, that's totally fine. You can pick your poison and choose which one is suitable for you. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just telling you why would I choose Instarem Amaze over YouTrip and multi-currency wallets. And if you want to look at a more detailed comparison of the best credit cards for overseas spend, then take a look at my previous credit card video right here on the best credit cards for overseas travel spend.